morning now, testimony underway in a rare U.S. Senate field hearing focused on Georgia's new election law. Critics calling the law an attack on voting methods. Today's hearing is being held at the National Center for Civil and Human Rights. We've already heard from Georgia's two Democratic senators, Raphael Warnock and Jon Ossoff, along with the chairwoman of the Rules Committee, U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar. They say they're concerned Georgia's new law will make it harder to vote, with changes to early voting and more strict requirements for absentee voting.
To fight for voting rights is to fight for human rights. And sadly, what we're seeing in Georgia is an attempt to deny certain people the ability to have their voices heard in our democracy. As I've said time and time again, some people don't want some people to vote.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger have both said the law is designed to make elections more secure. We're going to have more from the hearing and Republicans' response coming up on 11 Alive News at 5.